The Country Club's ballroom hadn't changed in 20 years. Same crystal chandeliers, same burgundy carpet, same smell of old money and new prejudices. I stood near the coat check, watching my extended family mingle at our decade reunion, their laughter echoing off walls that had witnessed every milestone and humiliation of my childhood. "Maya, is that you?" Aunt Patricia's voice cut through the chatter. "My goodness, you look professional." Professional. Code for boring. I smoothed my simple black dress, the same one I'd worn to close a $3 million deal last week. "Hi, Aunt Pat. Are you still doing that little secretary job?" She peered at me over her glasses. "Your mother mentioned you work at some startup." "I work in tech," I said simply. "Oh, how modern. Answering phones must be so different now with all those computers." She patted my arm. "Don't worry, dear. Not everyone can be a success like your sister." Across the room, my sister Vanessa held court near the bar, her designer dress catching the light as she gestured animatedly. Our cousins hung on every word, their faces alight with admiration. Vanessa had always been the star, prettier, louder, better at commanding attention. While I'd spent college nights coding, she'd spent them networking. While I built algorithms, she built her Instagram following. "There's my baby sister." Vanessa's voice rang out as she spotted me. The crowd parted as she sashayed over, wine glass in hand, engagement ring flashing. "Everyone, Maya's here. My little worker bee." The familiar sting of condescension washed over me. Worker bee. That's what she called me since high school, when I'd stayed up late doing homework while she went to parties. "How's the receptionist life?" She air-kissed my cheek, leaving a lipstick mark I knew was intentional. "Still fetching coffee for those tech bros?" "I don't fetch coffee," I said quietly. "Sure you don't." She winked at our gathered relatives. "My sister's always been so serious. While she's been typing away at her little desk, I've been building an empire." "An empire?" Cousin Josh leaned in, interested. "What kind of business?" Vanessa's smile widened. She'd been waiting for this opening. "Oh, just a small venture that's grown beyond my wildest dreams. We're disrupting the entire beauty industry with AI-powered skincare matching." My stomach dropped. She was describing my company. AI-powered. Aunt Patricia gasped. "Vanessa, how innovative." "IBUILTA $1 company. Meistestier Baragidi 8-hour reunion." It's been featured in Vogue, Allure, even TechCrunch. "We just closed our Series B funding at a $50 million valuation." She was quoting my investor deck verbatim. The same deck I practiced in my apartment mirror 100 times before pitching to Sequoia Capital. Unlike Maya, who just enhanced the vigorous favtomies. She glanced at me with false sympathy. "But someone has to do the small jobs, right? Not everyone can be an entrepreneur." "EVER won't lapid." The sound was deafening. My family, the people who'd watched me grow up, who'd seen me win science fairs and coding competitions, applauded my sister for stealing my life's work. Uncle Robert whistled. Cousin Sandra raised her glass in a toast. Even my mother, standing near the dessert table, smiled proudly at her eldest daughter. "Tell us more." Aunt Patricia gushed. "How did you come up with such a brilliant idea?" Vanessa launched into the story, my story. The late nights teaching myself machine learning. The failed prototypes. The moment I'd realized we could use computer vision to analyze skin conditions. She told it all as if she lived it, adding flourishes about boardroom negotiations and celebrity endorsements that were painfully accurate, because she'd been reading my emails. 3 months ago, she asked to crash at my apartment after a fight with her ex. I'd given her my spare key, my Wi-Fi password, my trust. She'd stayed for 2 weeks, and I'd been too busy with the Forbes interview to notice her unusual interest in my work laptop. "Maya, you must be so proud of your sister." Uncle Robert clapped me on the shoulder. "Maybe she can get you a real job at her company." I opened my mouth to respond, but what could I say? That the company they were celebrating was mine, that I'd spent 5 years building it from nothing? That the $1 million company was actually valued at $50 million, and I owned 60%. They'd never believe me. Vanessa had always been the golden child, the one who succeeded, the one whose stories were automatically credible. I was just the quiet sister who worked with computers. "I need some air," I mumbled, heading for the exit. "Oh, Maya, don't go," Vanessa called after me, voice dripping with false concern. I was just about to tell them about our new office in Palo Alto. 40 employees and growing. 43 employees, actually. I'd hired the last 3 personally. I pushed through the heavy doors into the cool evening air, my hands shaking with rage and something else. Disappointment, not just in Vanessa, but in myself for being surprised. She'd taken credit for my achievements our whole lives. My science fair project became her inspiration. My valedictorian speech included ideas she'd suggested. I'd always let it slide, telling myself it didn't matter who got credit as long as the work got done. But this was different. This was my company, my vision, my entire adult life. My phone buzzed. A text from Daniel Chin, my co-founder and CTO. Running late to your family thing. Traffic on 101 is brutal. Do you still need me to bring the magazine? The magazine. In the chaos of Vanessa's performance, I'd almost forgotten. The Forbes 30 Under 30 issue had hit stands today, featuring a 4-page spread on our company. Daniel had insisted on framing the cover for the office. I texted back, "Actually, yes. Bring it." 20 minutes. I had 20 minutes to decide if I wanted to go back in there and expose Vanessa's lies. 20 minutes to choose between keeping the peace and claiming my truth. I spent them sitting on a bench outside, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of purple and gold. The same sky I'd watched from my office window during countless late nights, building the company my sister was now claiming as her own. My phone lit up with notifications. The reunion's Facebook page was already flooding with posts. So proud of Vanessa, beauty and brains. The Patel family's success story. Then one that made me laugh bitterly. Maya must be so inspired by her amazing sister. Then, GEDOROPNED. Daniel Chen strode into the ballroom like he owned it, which, considering his 15% stake in the company, he partially did. 6'2", wearing the same Patagonia vest he'd worn to our IPO meetings, carrying a framed magazine cover under one arm and radiating the confidence of someone who'd helped build something extraordinary. The room seemed to pause as he scanned the crowd. His eyes found mine immediately. "Sorry, I am late. COFOUNDER." His voice carried across the ballroom with the same clarity he used in board presentations. Every head turned. Vanessa, mid-story about her latest product launch, froze with her mouth open. Daniel walked straight to me, ignoring everyone else. Traffic was murder, but I couldn't miss the chance to celebrate with the actual CEO of Beauty Mind I. He handed me the Forbes magazine with my face on it. "They did a great job with the cover, Maya. Though they should have mentioned your second patent." The magazine cover showed me in my office, surrounded by screens displaying our AI algorithms. The headline read, "Maya Patel, the 28-year-old genius revolutionizing skincare with artificial intelligence." Sister's wine glass shattered. The sound of breaking crystal cut through the silence. Red wine spread across the burgundy carpet like blood. Vanessa stood frozen, her hand still positioned as if holding the glass, her face cycling through emotions: shock, rage, fear. "I'm sorry," Daniel said, though his tone suggested otherwise. "Did I interrupt something?" He looked around innocently. "I heard someone talking about Beauty Mind when I walked in. It's always surreal hearing people discuss our baby." He draped an arm around my shoulders. 5 years of blood, sweat, and Maya's brilliant algorithms, and now everyone wants to claim they knew us when. Aunt Patricia was the first to speak, her voice faint. "Maya, you're the CEO." "Co-founder and CEO," Daniel confirmed cheerfully. "I handle the technical infrastructure, but Maya's the visionary. The AI skincare matching, her idea. The computer vision algorithms, she coded the first version herself. The celebrity endorsements, she negotiated every single one." He grinned. "I still remember when she called me at 3 a.m. with the breakthrough that became our core patent." I found my voice. Daniel's being modest. "He built our entire cloud infrastructure from scratch." "While you built the company," he countered. Then, as if just noticing Vanessa, he tilted his head. "I'm sorry, have we met? You look familiar." Vanessa's face had gone pale beneath her makeup. "I'm Maya's sister." "Oh, the Instagram influencer." Recognition dawned on Daniel's face. "Maya mentioned you stayed with her last month. Did you enjoy the office tour? Most people find our algorithm demonstrations pretty boring." The trap was perfectly laid. If Vanessa claimed she'd never seen The Office, her earlier stories would collapse. If she admitted to the tour, she'd be acknowledging that everything she knew came from me. I think there's been a misunderstanding, she stammered. A misunderstanding. My mother finally spoke, moving away from the dessert table. Vanessa, you said you built $1 million company. 50 million actually, Daniel corrected helpfully. Well, 52 million as of our last valuation. Though if the Estee Lauder acquisition goes through, we're looking at. He caught my warning glance. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Uncle Robert picked up the magazine with trembling hands. There I was, featured in Forbes, in the same publication that had featured Gates and Jobs and Zuckerberg. The article's pull quote was highlighted in yellow. Maya Patel represents the future of tech, brilliant, driven, and refreshingly authentic. This is real. He looked between me and Vanessa. Maya, you built this. She built it, Daniel confirmed before I could downplay my role. I've worked with founders from MIT, Stanford, Harvard. Maya outworks and outthinks them all. Do you know she taught herself machine learning from YouTube videos? That she built our first prototype in her studio apartment? That she pitched 47 investors before getting our first yes? The room was silent except for the sound of wine dripping from the broken glass onto the carpet. Why didn't you say anything? Cousin Sandra asked me. I looked at my family, really looked at them. At their shocked faces, their inability to reconcile the quiet girl they dismissed with the success story in Forbes. At my mother, who'd never once asked about my work. At Vanessa, whose entire identity had been built on being the successful sister. Would you have believed me? I asked simply. The silence that followed was answer enough. Daniel squeezed my shoulder. We should go. The team's waiting at the office to celebrate. Real celebration with people who actually know what you've accomplished. He paused. Though if anyone wants to hear about the real Beauty Mind story, Mai is giving a keynote at TechCrunch Disrupt next month. I think there are still tickets available. I let him lead me toward the door, then stopped. Vanessa stood alone by the shattered glass, her designer dress now stained with wine, her carefully constructed image in ruins. Vanessa, I called out. She looked up, tears threatening her mascara. The offer still stands. If you want to learn about what I actually do, you're welcome to visit. The real office, not the version you created. Her face crumbled. Maya, I know, I said quietly. You've always needed to be the star. But stealing someone else's light doesn't make you shine brighter. We left them there, my family surrounding the Forbes magazine like archaeologists discovering proof of an ancient civilization. In the parking lot, Daniel finally let out the laugh he'd been holding. That felt good, he admitted. Watching you let them dismiss you these past years has been painful. I thought it didn't matter, I said, settling into his Tesla. I thought the work would speak for itself. It does, he said, pulling onto the highway. But sometimes you need to be the one speaking for it. Your sister understood that, even if she understood nothing else. My phone buzzed incessantly as we drove. Texts from family members, suddenly interested in my life, suddenly proud of their CEO niece/cousin/daughter. I turned it off. You okay? Daniel asked. I thought about it. My sister had tried to steal my life's work. My family had believed her. For a few horrible moments, my entire identity had been erased by someone who'd never written a line of code or pitched a single investor. But she failed. The truth had a way of surfacing, especially when you built something real. Every line of code, every patent, every employee who joined our mission, they were testimony to what I actually accomplished. I'm better than okay, I said, watching the city lights blur past. I'm finally visible. Daniel grinned. Good. Because the team really is waiting to celebrate, and unlike your family, they actually know what we're celebrating. As we pulled into the Beauty Mind parking lot, I saw our logo illuminated against the building, my vision made tangible. Inside, 43 people who'd believed in that vision were waiting to toast the Forbes feature with someone who'd earned it. My phone buzzed one last time before I shut it off completely. A text from Vanessa. I'm sorry, I just wanted to be like you. I stared at the words, then deleted them. She'd never wanted to be like me. She'd wanted to be me without understanding that being me meant years of rejection, isolation, and bone-deep exhaustion. It meant choosing the work over the party, the algorithm over the accolades, the truth over the comfortable lie. Coming? Daniel stood by the office door, holding it open. I pocketed my phone and walked into my real life, The one I built, line by line, failure by failure, victory by quiet victory. Behind me, the door closed on a family who finally learned my name. It only took a Forbes cover to make them remember it.